Hey everybody, Flamer here, coming at you with the next episode of the Dark Aether files. In this episode, we will be talking about the lost soul Adrik Fedorov, an Omega Group Ethernaut who was tasked to get Ethereum crystals for the benefit of Omega Group so that they could start working on harnessing the powers from the Dark Aether and study it. If you guys enjoy the Dark Aether files, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. And now, let's dive straight into the Dark Aether storyline. Adrik Fedorov started working for Omega Group while being directed by Dr. William Pack, the lead scientist of Omega Group's exoscientific phenomena research. Omega Group found a phase, as we call the dimensional rifts, that let you go in and out of the Dark Aether near an abandoned American base called Ripcord. They named this place Outpost 25. Fedorov enters one of the Dark Aether dimensional rifts and enters the Dark Aether together with a squad, with the task of mining and gathering Ethereum crystals.
Gather Ethereum crystals. It's like picking wildflowers in hell. And of course we say yes, because we are Spetsnaz. Refusal is not an option. Not if you want to maintain your career. But it's not gone well. I have lost more friends here than I did in Afghanistan. No career is worth that. If this is what it takes for me to make sergeant, I can only guess what the colonel has done to get where he is. I was a different man when I enlisted. I wanted to travel as far from home as possible, and I feared nothing. This mission has cured me of both.
Adrik Fedorov is an Efreitor in the Russian army ranking system, meaning he is a Russian army enlisted man who is a lance corporal. Fedorov is helping Omega Group because he is Spetsnaz, and refusal is not an option. Fedorov is aiming to become a sergeant of the Spetsnaz, focusing on the task by entering the Dark Aether to gain his new rank. A promise from Omega Group that has some strings attached with it. After Pack has gotten word from the Charing Community State Security, or else known as the CCCP, that prisoners of the state will be transferred to Outpost 25 as punishment. Pack switches the task of Fedorov from mining crystals to mapping out the Dark Aether.
Fedorov, Omega Group. We have been reassigned from Ethereum mining duties. That task now falls to vermin, enemies of the state. But now they expect us to map the Dark Aether. That is what Pack calls this place. I would like to see him try to survey this madness. They've seen things out here. Unspeakable things. Today, usually large groups of the infected are chaotic, mindless mobs, but today I found hundreds of them strangely grouped. And their clothing, were they uniforms? I dared not get too close, but they looked like... No, that cannot be right. They surely cannot be. This place, it plays tricks on you. I just need to get some sleep.
After noticing a giant group of zombies with certain uniforms, which we can only assume right now to be, because of his reaction, his fellow squad mates and other Spetsnaz ranked people, Fedorov starts being a victim of the effects of the Dark Aether crystals and the Dark Aether itself. Fedorov, being the proud Spetsnaz that he is, keeps on mapping out the Dark Aether zone, until suddenly the portal disappears which he and his squad mates came out of. This is because the zombies started to appear and overrun Outpost 25, after Samantha Maxis got thrown into the Dark Aether by Pack. He shut down the Dark Aether portal, and since then the facility was getting overrun by zombies. Fedorov, after being closed off from the portal, decides to move forward through the Dark Aether, what seems to be years for him. As we don't know how time exactly works in the Dark Aether, we do not know how long Fedorov actually has stayed in the Dark Aether. Fedorov meets more survivors, but being stuck in the Dark Aether requires sacrifices for survival.
Adrik Fedorov, Efreitor, Omega Group. Why do I still call myself that? Why do I even keep making these reports? I lost track how long they've been here. Surely it's been years. There used to be more people here. Lost. Like me. So many are gone now. Food for the dragon. Yes. A dragon. It is also a rocket ship. Don't even try to make sense of these things anymore. What I know for sure is the dragon must be fed. It demands sustenance. And then it delivers this banquet of souls to the One. I do not like to even speak of the One, but his shadow falls over us all. And we must pay tribute. At first, we sacrificed the weak. Strangers, friends, it did not matter, but then we who still remained began hunting each other. I have to go. It is hungry again. I have to go.
Fedorov speaks of an entity known as the One. In the last episode talking about the Stranger, we briefly talked about the One. It seems the One is an entity that is like a god in the Dark Aether, that everyone is afraid of. They try to please it by doing tasks, like filling up the dragon relic like we see in Outbreak. The One uses these dragon relics to send itself a sacrifice in the form of essence being drained from living and undead beings in the Dark Aether, making the lost souls fight each other, to up one another. The weak die and the strong survive. Just like the Stranger, this seems to be the way the rules work in the Dark Aether, in the once twisted game of survival. Fedorov is a Spetsnaz who is not easily afraid of anything, but in the next audio log, Fedorov is disturbed by something.
Fedorov, his writer, Omega, still here, still recording. When I first arrived, many things frightened me. I would not admit this, of course. I was Spetsnaz. They feared nothing. But still, anyone who has had to fight and kill a comrade who died a week before and then tells you they felt no fear. Yarunda. What would disturb me most in those early days was the ball of light that sounds like children laughing. What was it? What was it made from? The souls of dead children? Did it consume children? Did it use their laughter as a lure? None of the possibilities were good. Bushmoy, he disturbed me. But, you know, I stopped seeing it after a while. I began to think I just dreamed it up. And then, just yesterday, there it was. Giggling. And I found I was not scared anymore. I was just sad. I will never again hear that sound for real. I will never have children of my own. I will never, ever know such innocence again. And now I have my answer.
As Fedorov said, the ethereal orb we see in the outbreak zones have children screaming and giggling. It is a force that is there to torment the survivors in the Dark Aether, reminding them that they will never hear the noise of children or their own child, never again. They are lost, and the orb reminds them of what loss. Another twisted entity the One uses to demotivate everyone and leaving them in their own despair. And from this despair, the One decides who is worthy of joining his army.
Fedorov, writer, this lost recording. Oh, I've not felt like myself in a very long time. I know that change is upon me. I've seen it in too many others. I do not recognize it in myself. I've begun with mouth tasting like battery. Then my skin turned bluish. Started to crack. At first I shed flakes of skin. Then I noticed the flakes, they were made of crystals. I know what I am becoming. The one has chosen me. He's making me into one of his soldiers. Crystals, they call to me now. I tried to stay away, but the more I change, the more I need them.
The One has claimed another soul for his army. Fedorov has turned after this audio log in a Tempest, the blue floating crystallized beings in the outbreak zones. Never to be heard from again, he joins the One's army as a Tempest to stop the strike team and infiltrate our world. As we can hear, Federov was being lured by the Dark Aether crystals, and this seems what the Tempests are hypnotized by, as heard by Dr. Peck after capturing one.
William Peck, Supplemental Notes. Well, it took a week and cost the lives of some brave young men, but we finally did it. We caught 4 of those floaty blue bastards alive. Okay, sure. By we, I mean the highly trained operators in Omega Group. I'm not exactly the field ops type. But they could never have locked down those lightning bugs without the gear I built for them. I mean, have you ever tried to cage something that can teleport? Now, one big help in this whole process is how attracted the blue guys are to the crystals. The big ones, the atmosphere converters. The purer the crystal, the more irresistible. I think that was the first tip-off that I could co-opt the way they metabolize Ethereum for my own purposes. Yeah, Sparky, I know it hurts, but you gotta take one for the team. We all serve a greater good now. And I promise, if Operatia Inversia stays on schedule, you won't be suffering for long.
After hearing Peck talk about metabolizing of crystals, we can figure out why the Tempests are so hypnotized when they see a crystal. It's the way they feed. The crystals make sure that the Tempests survive. While Peck is experimenting on the Tempest for Operatia Inversia, which has been hinted at a lot by Valentina and Kravchenko, Strike Team enters the Ural Mountains and meets these Tempests. In the fight in the outbreak zones, the Stranger, or Psychov, tells us about the many enemies in the Ural Mountains and also about the Tempests. The Tempest uses a lightning orb when being shot or aggroed when near one. They stalk the player by trying to stay as far away as possible from them and using ranged attacks to keep the players at bay. The Tempest is easy to kill on its own, but when there are multiple and they start shooting the player with their electric orbs, you can die more easily. When focusing on a Tempest, you can either dodge his attacks and shoot from afar, but you can also enter a cabin or space where the Tempest does not teleport away when being shot. While it's only a theory, I believe this is since indoors there are no crystals the Tempest can use to teleport itself into, and use that to teleport away from the player. Since outside in the outbreak zones, everywhere we look, there are crystals. The Tempest can be stunned when using Death Wire, making them kneel down, giving you a chance to interrupt their attacks. You can also brain rot the Tempest and let it fight for you. If you damage the Tempest, it will retreat, since it does not want to die, and seems to be peaceful for a while, until it spots you and then it starts to attack again. However, recently found out today, if you do not damage the Tempest for a while, they can suddenly despawn. The Tempest is an annoying enemy to deal with in packs, but on its own, it's easy to take out. The one turned soldiers lost in the Dark Aether after long survival and showing dedication by doing his tasks, like the dragon relic we heard, into one of his soldiers for his army. He turns them into Tempests and probably more. Sadly, Federov did not survive, like many of the lost souls, and now has to wander the Dark Aether and Outbreak zones until Requiem or Omega Group finds him in his Tempest form and kills him. May you rest in peace, Fedorov, a lost soul who got turned against his will. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and know a lot more about the Dark Aether story. How it is going right now, it is so interesting to see this whole story and the interesting characters inside of it. Federov and the story of the creation of the Tempest is an interesting one, and it's gonna be exciting to see what the future of these soldiers of the One look like and what they will do in the end. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. And don't forget to hit that post notification bell for any uploads or stream on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is your boy InazumaFlamer, signing off. Have a good day.